Welcome. We're back for our second go at live streaming. Thanks for all the support. Good to see lots of people logging in and looking forward to it. A few of you noticed a bit of a sighing from me at the end of the last one. Well, that was just I was glad to get there, as it were. But it was brilliant, and thanks for the feedback. Lots of questions as well, and I managed to look through quite a few of them. And we'll do our best to have some fun today. We've got a guest moderator today. That's Will Parsons. I'm sure some of you will know Will. He does lots of trips and events for us, and a keen member of our team, and he's been doing it for plenty of time for us. And I think we should be wishing him a happy anniversary, Will and Sylvia. So do say hello to him. He may reply to some of your comments as you go through. So, as I said, we had lots of feedback, and one of which is going to be in our contents today. We're going to have our quiz, as we had before, and then we're going to have the seminar, and that is going to be actually following on from Mondays, just to clarify a few things. Then I'll look at the answer to the quiz, and then we will have a new quiz. Bridge online, we're going to talk about lots of questions about how can I play privately online. Well, I'm going to try and take you through that, or at least give you an example of that. And then we'll have some questions and answers that I've taken in, and then we'll go back to the quiz and then sum up. That's the idea. I'm hoping to have slightly shorter content, and the reason for that is so that I don't have to hurry through. A few people noticed that. So we're hoping we're going to have some good fun again. So I'm going to put the quiz up. No, I'm not. I'm going to mention online bridge. And I played online bridge last night. First time in a long time on Bridge Base Online. And the first two hands we played, 7 spades -1 by the opponents, 7 hearts making. Now, I think in a teams match, that's the first time I've ever had 2 Grand Slams starting off a teams match. And it wasn't a bad start to the match, even if I say so myself. Okay, here we go. Oh, I'm not supposed to clap like that, but there you go. I hope it wasn't too loud. This is the bidding quiz that you have seen, some of you. But again, I'm sorry to say I won't be giving you the answer now because some of you might not have seen the quiz. So just to remind you, your left-hand opponent opened 1 club, east doubled, south passed, and west questioned. Sorry, west has to bid, that's you. Okay, now I have put the vulnerability up this time, and we're going to be talking about a bit of vulnerability today because I've got a number of questions about that. Love all. Now what love all means is nobody vulnerable. Nobody vulnerable, okay? If you see game all, it means you are all vulnerable. If you see north-south game, that would be north-south vulnerable, and east-west game would mean east-west vulnerable. And that all comes from rubber bridge. So the basic, if north-south have a game, north-south become vulnerable, and that's why it was always put that way. So again, you're responding to your partner's double, and what's interesting is we'll probably get the answer in the little bit of the seminar I am going to be doing. So lots of answers coming in there, 1 hearts and 2 hearts and various things. Pass, well, we'll have a look at that as well. All of those 3 are going to be the ones that will come up. And if there's any different, well, I'll try and bring those up as well, but it's mostly 1 heart, 2 hearts and double. So let's look at what we're going to look at today in the PowerPoint then. Okay, so I'm going to start by overlapping by 1 hand, okay? So overlapping by 1 hand, and the reason is just that allows us to recap on what we were doing on Monday. So the double reaps rewards. We were talking, just to remind you, about takeout doubles later in the auction, either by the opening bidder, reopening, or the last bidder, when your pass would end the auction. Well, then when we borrow a king and make a double. So let's get me up there, my ugly mug up there next to there, so we can have a talk. So what we said was by double reaping rewards is that sometimes your partner has lovely trumps and actually thinks, you know, the best score we can get is from passing your takeout double. Okay, and it's a wonderful thing. It takes getting used to. Usually, as I said 2 days ago, people are in shock when it happens because they think, oh no, partner's forgotten my partner was for takeout. But for the most part, okay, as long as you trust each other, wonderful things can happen. So it's when the partner of the takeout doubler chooses to pass. Okay, and we do that when we have good and long trumps. It is a positive decision. One of the questions we're going to come up with later is, how do we know when to pass or not? Okay, the key is it is a positive decision. Partner, I think we will get our best score by playing in their contract doubled. So let's remind ourselves of how it works. We saw this hand 2 days ago, not yesterday, 2 days ago. Okay, so we had West opening one spade, a nice natural bid, and two hearts making a completely normal overcall. Okay, we do like to have 6 cards for an overcall, and I will mention that in a moment when we look at a hand subsequent to this. But here I think 2 hearts is reasonable. East actually wants to make a penalty double, but that is not our system. Our system is takeout doubles. So if East actually doubled here, West would respond. Now, I guess some of you could suggest playing penalty doubles, but if you did, it would be very unusual, and your partner would need to alert it. Very important that, okay, because everybody's assumed to be playing takeout doubles. Okay, so bear that in mind. Okay, so here East passes, and he's hoping his partner will make a takeout double. He's got 5 hearts. He's thinking North's got 5 or 6, so his partner's not going to have many. And that is exactly what we saw. West doesn't just look at his own hand. It's easy to think, oh, spades are bound to be the best suit, and we bid 2 spades. And a lot of us would do that. But what we said 2 days ago was we are going to double here for takeout. And that allows us to play in any contract. Spades, diamonds, clubs, no trumps, and of course hearts itself, if your partner chooses. So here East is being asked to bid his best suit, but he is thinking, well, do you know, 3 diamonds might make, but I think we're going to get a better score out of 2 hearts doubled. And because he's got 5 hearts, he's going to make 2 heart tricks at least. What we said yesterday was that should go relatively easily 3 off. And that's a great score of 500, which is worth more than a game contract. Yes, it could go 4 off if double dummy, but I don't, that would be very difficult, and you can work that out for yourselves. And if you do want to know, I can answer it another time. So we've seen that hand. Let's look at a hand we haven't seen. So South's the opening bidder. He is non-vulnerable. If you look in the middle of the screen there, you will see the term love all again. Nobody vulnerable. Okay. So South, I think I'd open 3 spades, to be honest. I know it's going to turn out badly on this one, but I love preempting, and I love preempting in spades because it makes their life very difficult. And West is thinking, oh no, I don't know what to do. Remember, if West doubles, his partner will take out. Here, he will bid 4 hearts, for example, okay? So double is no good. West passes. He's thinking, I've got 4 spades. South has 7. So my partner's probably only got 1. And I'm hoping that if the bidding goes to him, he will borrow a king from me and make a bid. So it goes pass, and it's East's turn to bid. Now, he's only got 11 high card points, so he might feel borderline. But as someone mentioned yesterday, he's got a singleton, and if he thinks he's got a fit, he can add on for the singleton. But not only that, I want you to add another 3 points as well. And now, hopefully, you'll see that thinking about 16 or 17 points would make you feel very excited indeed. Okay? All right, so I think double here is a beautiful bid. And remember, if you go off in 4 diamonds or 4 hearts, you might be happy, but of course on this particular hand, West is going to pass with a very big smile indeed, because West is very confident that 3 spades is going comfortably off. Okay, and in fact, again, 4 off, horrible. Okay, horrible. 800, but very nice for East-West. I'm still going to open 3 spades on the South hand, believe me. Okay, but it turns out that of course West makes all three of his spades, the king, the jack and the 9, and so often that is what happens when your spades are sitting over the opening bidder. Okay, so let's try another one. Penalty doubles. Now this is interesting because I love talking about penalty doubles, but what is interesting is most of your penalty doubles come from takeout doubles, because when no trumps were involved is very different. If I double 1 no trumps, that's for penalties, okay, but when we double suit contracts, it is for takeout, okay. So we only really end up with a penalty double when the partner chooses to make a takeout double, and partner passes it. So this is particularly from reopening doubles, and what I want to show you is the way that we should get into the habit of punishing bad overcalls. Okay, punishing bad overcalls. So let's look at a hand here. Okay. So West is the opening bidder. West is going to open 1 spade. Now, a little bit of a sideline here. West has 14 points, 5 spades and a 10. So even if you are one of these people who love to open 1 no trump with a 5-card major, I hate it. When I've got a good 5-card major, I'm always going to open the major. With a bad one, I will open 1 no trump. I like to be able to choose, and I think that's fundamental. Here though, even if you did choose, I would feel your hand is nearly worth 15 points. So I might even plan to open 1 spade and rebid 1 no trump. If you played a strong no trump, it would be tricky. It'd be tricky for you. You might choose to open 1 no trump, upgrading to 15 points. Or you might choose to open 1 spade and rebid no trumps at the lowest level. But that's another matter. Okay, so 1 spade from West. What would you bid with the North hand? Now, a lot of times, okay, I think most club players would bid 2 diamonds here. Okay, now what you'll find is most experts won't, because a 5-card suit isn't really enough to bid at the 2 level. And the reason they don't bid it is because too often they're going to get doubled in it. The reason why most of us club players bid 2 diamonds is simply because we don't get doubled. We just don't get doubled enough, so we don't worry about it. And therefore you think, I've got an opening hand, I'll bid 2 diamonds. The clue to whether you should bid is, what would you have opened if you're playing a weak no trump with that hand? You would have opened a weak no trump. And what is the first word of that phrase? Weak. Okay, and that's clear. So North bids 2 diamonds here. East passes. South passes. What does West bid? And I'm going to be honest, a lot of Wests would rebid 2 spades here. So 2 diamonds gets away with it. Okay, but I want West to reopen with a double here. And that allows us to play in any. He's got reasonable clubs, he's got reasonable hearts. So if partner bids his best suit, maybe we're happy playing there. Don't forget, partner knows we've bid spades, so he can go back to them if he wants. But what happens here, of course, is East is weak, but with ace, jack, 9, 8 of diamonds, I would say he is going to make 3 diamond tricks a lot of the time. And therefore I think pass is a great bid. Notice the 9 and 8 of diamonds there. With small diamonds is a little bit more tricky, and you might just choose 2 hearts, but thinking that you're making 3 trump tricks, I think pass is a great bid. And as you can see, he will indeed make 3 diamond tricks. Declarer will play the diamonds, he'll make his king, but the ace, jack, 9 are sitting over the queen, 10. So 3 diamond tricks plus your partner's got plenty of points. Ace, king of hearts, you'll make a spade trick because you'll lead them, and maybe even a club trick. I think you might even take this 2 off. 1 off's a reasonable score anyway, because you haven't got a great contract of your own, but 2 off is a great victory because 300 beats any part score there is. And don't forget, it's only a 20-20 hand. Okay, so that's the idea of punishing bad overcalls. The reopening double really opens doors for you, and you can have some great fun with this. Do not worry if they make a contract. People always say, oh, I never double them in 2 hearts or something like that because I double them into game. If they make a doubled contract, you're getting a bad score, But that's not the reason you're playing in two diamonds doubled. You're playing in two diamonds doubled because you think you're going to get them down. Can you see what I mean? Okay, so here, don't worry if they make two diamonds. You get a bottom score, but I would say 90% of the time on this hand, you're going to take it down. Where you get a top score. I think we can manage 90%. Okay, all right, so in fact, most of us would be happy with 70%. Okay, so let's go to the meat and drink of this part of the seminar, and that's responding to the double. Okay, so responding to doubles, and of course, I'm afraid this is sort of going to answer our quiz as well. The first thing is to remember to jump with extra strength. Sorry about the edge of the screen there, you're not missing much, so I hope you can quite comfortably read that, and we'll make sure that's fully on for the next one. So remember to jump, because when you respond to a double, how many points are you showing? 0. Okay, because your partner's made you bid. If you pass with 0, you're going to get an awful score, because of course the opponents will make their contract. So a pass will usually be when you've got a reasonable hand and lots of trumps. If you've got 0 points, you've got to make a bid, and therefore we need to distinguish between nothing hands and hands that have some strength. So when you are very sure, now this is tricky. A number of people did say, oh, can we have some simpler stuff? Some of this is going to be okay. This idea is tricky. The idea of bidding the opponent's suit when you are very strong. Okay. Now, a lot of people will have heard me talk about this. The idea is if I bid the opponent's suit in a competitive auction, it says, partner, I am strong and I am excited. I am strong and I am excited. Okay. Don't forget though, one other thing to remember, what we were talking about on Monday, is when your partner was in the last seat, he might have borrowed some points from you. So you do need to bear that in mind. If you're borderline, you would downgrade your bid. Okay, and the last thing, of course, the reopening double that we talked about on Monday, and we've just seen again. If you do have some support for your partner's first suit, 3-card support, for example, even in a weak hand, you would go back to that suit. We tend to favour that, but with just 2 cards in his opened suit, or just 1, you would just bid your best suit as usual. Okay, so points to note. Well, don't forget to include distribution. Okay, so if you've got a 5-card or 4-card suit in response to your partner, he said he's got support, so you assume you've got a fit. Okay, you assume you've got a fit. Okay, and you add on for your distribution. Okay, you've had some auction here. Okay, you've had some auction. So your kings and queens may change their value. Imagine you've got a queen in your opponent's suit or a king in your opponent's suit. Which side is your opponent? Is he on your right or your left? It's going to make a lot of difference. You need to bear that in mind. And as we've said a number of times, and I'm going to come back to again because someone did ask a specific question about this, only pass a takeout double if you are sure it is best, because your partner's asked you to make a bid. Okay. So have a look at this. Here is your first hand. Now understand that you cannot see your opponent's first bid. So 1 diamond, is from north. You can't see north's hand. I am showing you the west and the east hand on the screen there. 1 diamond is bid by north, who we cannot see. East doubles for takeout, nice and natural. Pass. What do you think west should respond? Okay, what do you think west should respond? And to be honest, this is a very similar hand to the hand that we saw in the bidding quiz. Okay, so I hope that probably you'll be coming up with the same answer. And that answer is including evaluation. So yes, you've got your best suit is clearly spades. But if you bid 1 spade, you are showing 0 points. Now, you could have up to 6, 7 or 8 points, but your partner's not going to get excited. You have a 5-card spade suit and a singleton club. Your 4 little diamonds are probably going to do all right because your partner's short in that suit. You need to show a modicum of excitement by jumping to 2 spades. No more, I saw someone jumping to 4 spades. That might punish a partner. Yes, you can see that 4 spades will make, but that's because your partner's got a bit stronger hand that he could have. All double is saying is, partner, you know, I've got a decent hand here. I'm not worried that I've been forced to make a bid. I want to make a bid. Whereas if you've only got 4 or 5 points, that is when you're thinking, oh, I don't really want to make a bid. And that's when you bid just 1 spade. Okay, I tend to just jump to 2 spades on hands in this range. You could jump to 3 spades, but again, you know, with just 7 high card points, you know, I think that might be over-egging it. Okay, as I say, 8 losers if you prefer that, but again, that's where I bid 2 spades. Okay, so what about this one? Same auction, 1 diamond. Just to say, I'll just go back to that one. Sorry about that. At that point, East with a better than minimum double, you know, with just 5.5 losers in his hand, would jump to 4 spades there. Okay. Okay, what about this one? Okay. 1 diamond from North again, and double from East. 1 diamond from North, double from East. What do you fancy with this hand here? So it goes pass, and it's your bid. And to be honest, probably your best question here is, what level do you want to be in? What level do you want to be at? And the answer, I think, is game. You've got 7 losers opposite an opening hand. So I think you want to be in game. Now I can see a lot of people coming up with the right answer. Please bear in mind that they will probably be more experienced players than some of you, because 2 diamonds is not an easy bid. 2 diamonds is a bid of the opponent's suit, and it says, partner, I am strong, I am excited, and I think we should finish in a game. Let's try and discuss which game. And the beauty of it is that you will find your best fit. Probably East will respond with his better major, his longer major, so he'll bid 2 spades here, and we would finish in 4 spades. Because as soon as we find a fit, we can finish in 4 spades. Whereas if you chose to jump to 2 hearts here, I think you'd finish in 4 hearts, which is not so good. Can you see the idea? 2 diamonds, partner, I'm excited. East then bids again. He probably should bid 2 spades here rather than 3 clubs, and we would finish in 4 spades. That is not easy bidding. So if you've not come across a bid of the opponent's suit, I'm sure we will be mentioning it many times over the next couple of months. We will revisit that, shall we say. Okay, I am strong and I am excited. Now, this one is a little bit more tricky, so let's have a look. 1 spade from North. You are the East hand this time now. I've shifted you across the screen, haven't I? So it goes 1 spade, you pass, it goes pass and double. Okay. 1 spade, pass, pass, double. Okay. Pass from the opening bidder, and it's your bid. Now, I don't think this is particularly easy, and I think you're between bids here. The first thing to say is your partner is in the pass out seat, so he could have borrowed some points from you. How good is your Queen of Spades? I'm not sure how useful it's going to be. It might stop them in a no trump contract, but it's not going to do, it may not be worth much in hearts, and I think I'm going to finish in hearts here. My partner's made a takeout double of 1 major. Very, very often he will have hearts. The Jack of Diamonds might not be worth much. I think you're between 2 hearts and 3 hearts, but because I want my partner to lean over to help me to make a bid, borrow some points from me, I'm just going to bid 2 hearts. So there's a lot of things going on there. My partner was in the last seat. If he'd been in the first seat, I think jumping is probably right. But because he might have borrowed a king, and because my Queen of Spades perhaps is not so valuable, I think 2 hearts is enough. Let's look at his hand. Thank you, partner, for making a bid for me. And that's what you want to be saying here. So he's only got 9 points and a singleton, but he has borrowed a king from you. He was the last person. He didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave the bidding at 1 spade with a singleton. Brilliant double. Don't punish him. You jump to 3 hearts and you might get too high. You might compete to 3 hearts if they bid on. That's another matter. But I think 2 hearts might win the auction. You never know. And therefore 2 hearts is enough. Okay. So that was devaluing your queen of spades and realizing that your partner might be a little weaker. Okay, let's finish this little bit of seminar with responding to the reopening double. So West on your left is opening with 1 spade. North bids 2 diamonds. Clearly East has nothing to say when you have a pile of rubbish. It goes pass, and it's West's turn to bid. And I hope everybody's happy with a takeout double there. So important that, okay, not 2 spades. You want to include your partner in the auction. Double says, partner, if you bid your best suit, the chances are we are going to finish in the best contract. It goes pass. East will always look to see if he's got 3 spades in his hand, but he doesn't here, of course, and he bids 3 clubs. Okay, his best suit. Don't be tempted to bid 2 hearts. All partner might want me to bid a major. No, he is asking you to bid your best suit as long as you take regard that he opened 1 spade. Okay, and you finished in 3 clubs, which surely is your best contract. Okay, it might go off, but they might make 2 diamonds. And that's the idea on hands like this. Okay, competing for the hand. Good stuff. Okay, one last hand then before we move on. So once again, 1 spade. You've seen the West hand, of course. It goes 1 spade, 2 diamonds, overcall, pass, pass, and double for takeout. As we've seen, what does the East hand respond here? What does the East hand respond here? And it's those 3 spades that are crucial. Don't forget your partner's open 1 spade. You're happy with that? Okay. Now, if you were playing 5-card majors, you might have dredged up a 2 spade bid on the first round, and I don't mind that. That's fine. It's not a bad bid. But playing 4-card majors, I don't think you should dredge up a spade and a point, as it were. With 4 points, pass is right, but now you bid 2 spades. Can you see that? And that's why I don't want you to worry as West. As West, your partner has seen your opening bid. So he is not going to ignore it. When you do your takeout double, he will have in mind that he can go back to spades if he wants to, but he also has in mind I can play in hearts, I can play in clubs, I can play in no trumps, and I could, if I wanted to, play in diamonds if I liked them. Okay, that's that one done. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's move on to the quiz answer. And of course, have a quick look at that, let you have a look. Oh, that's the answer already, yes. Okay, so I've skipped from the quiz, haven't I? Sorry about that. There's the quiz. And I think we've pretty much covered it. Okay, what I said in what we've just talked about is I want you to include your distribution. Okay, now for me, I don't like jumps to 3 hearts on hands like this with only 4. I'm just bidding 2 hearts. But the point is I'm not bidding 1 heart. 1 heart could show 0 points, and that's crucial here. 1 heart could show 0 points. Here you've got 8 points in a singleton. You need to be showing some strength. Okay, now the answers I had were 1 heart, 2 hearts, and pass. Okay, let me show you my quiz answer here. There we go. Now I've shown you the partner's hand. Now if you just bid 1 heart, your partner could pass. He should pass probably. I know he's got 15 points, but he's got no reason to bid if you only bid 1 heart. Okay, if you're up to about 7 points, you bid 1 heart. Well, that's not going to be enough to make a game. Why would he bid higher than 1 heart if he needs to? What I need you to do is jump to 2 hearts. Okay, partner, I'm not just responding because you've asked me to. I actively want to respond to your double. Can you see the idea? Okay, and so bidding 2 hearts means your partner can then think, okay, I know my partner's got 8 or 9 points. I've got 15 points in a singleton. I'm going to go for game. and we end up in 4 hearts, nice and comfortable. Okay, I don't want you to pass simply because your clubs aren't good enough. I know you've got 5 of them, but you might only just make 1 trick from those clubs, and that's crucial. Not only that, if you take 1 club 1 off, you may well do here. 1 club 1 off would be worth just 100 points. That's not enough. And 1 club 2 off, worth 300 points, would still not be enough. And believe me, getting a 1 level contract 2 off is not easy. Okay, so I hope you're happy with that one. I'm sure some of you are, some of you aren't, but that's the way of quizzes. And don't get me wrong, I'm trying to give my answer. That's what I do. There are other answers, but I would usually feel that mine's a pretty interesting, pretty stock answer on this hand. Let's put up another quiz for you. Remember, this one will be for next Friday, not next Friday, the Friday coming. Okay. A little bit interesting here. You've opened 1 heart. You've opened 1 heart with your hand. Again, it's a similar hand to the one we saw before. To me, you should be opening 1 heart every day of the week here. Okay. If you play a strong no trump, I suppose you might upgrade it. Okay. But for the most part, I want you bidding 1 heart if you play alcohol with a weak no trump. Because if necessary, if you really hate rebidding 2 hearts with this kind of hand, rebid 1 no trump to show you what I think is close to 15 points, 14 high card points, and a great 5 card suit. Okay, so do not feel embarrassed. And if you've got ace king to 5 in a major, I desperately need you to open 1 heart. Okay, it goes 1 heart from you anyway. 1 no trump from north. That's your opponent. He's made a 1 no trump overcall. 2 diamonds from east, pass, and it's your rebid. Okay, once again, I see someone who wants to open a 1 no trump hand there. That is so far away from a 1 no trump opener. Okay, but I'm happy for you if you want to do it, but you won't get good scores if you open 1 heart with a hand like that. Okay, you've got to decide what to rebid. What does your partner's 2 diamond bid mean? That is up to you. Okay, so we're going to look at that again later, but we're not going to see the answer till Friday. So if you can hold on for that, but do show me your answers. So what are we going to do now? We are going to look at online bridge. So one of the most common questions that came in was, because I mentioned it, people said to me, how can I play as a private 4 online? Okay, so I'm going to try and take you through. Now, please be aware there are many sites available. The one that I'm going to show you, the screenshot that I'm going to show you, is from Bridge Base Online, bridgebase.com. Just search for Bridge Base Online. It's often shortened to BBO. BBO. Okay, now there are Bridge Player Live, eBridge, FunBridge, all sorts of sites. You may have your favorites, you can search for them, and some may suit you better. They'll have different graphics, etc. But most of them are going to work very similarly to this. So I'll leave that, I'll come to that in a moment. First of all, whenever you go to any site, if you've never been there before, you have to log in. Okay, you have to log in. So to do that, you put in your email address, you put in your things, and you choose a username. You can't choose something like Bob because that will be taken, but Bob 1741. The 4 friends discuss this with each other, okay, and they then one of them takes control and says, okay, I've got your names, I'm going to go online. So you've logged on, you've created your username, and this is what you'll see with an advert on the right and something else on the left. It's complicated. It will seem complicated. What I want you to do is select casual. To select casual for me there. Okay. So if you press on casual bridge, you will come to this. Okay. And what you want, lots of things. You've got lots of choices here, and we may look at some of the other ones later. But what I want you to choose here is start a table. Start a table. Okay, so rather than playing with other people that you don't know, you're going to choose a table for yourself, and it will then come up with this menu. Okay, now what you're going to want to play is you're going to want to reserve all the seats. You click on a seat to take a seat yourself, and you can reserve the other seats. And you will then, you would reserve them for your friends, and you hopefully know your friends' names. Okay, so they will then come to the table. You can invite them to the table by going to people and selecting them. You will get used to it. You can't blow anything up. Nothing bad is going to happen. Have a go at it. You're probably going to want to play a relaxed game, but you can play a competitive game. And all that means is you play as a 4, but you're playing hands that other people have played. So you can then compare. Okay? So, you know, have a go with that. It's harmless. If it doesn't work the first time, try again. Please give me your feedback if you manage to do it. If you don't, we'll try and help you out again. Okay, but that's playing bridge online, and hopefully that is of some help for you. Remember, it'll be very similar on all the different sites. Okay, and hopefully that will give you an idea of how to go. Now, let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay, I'm a little bit behind here, so I'm going to have to rush. I went through this and it only took me half an hour last time, but there you go. So one question was about vulnerability. Okay, one question was about vulnerability. I usually mention it a lot during the seminar. For the most part, you saw we were non-vulnerable most of the time yesterday. Minus 50 is one of my favorite scores, but actually minus 100 comes a close second. So for those bids around the 2 and 3 level, I'm still going to compete in the same way when I am vulnerable. Yes, if you get doubled, you get a bad score, but how often do they manage to double us? It's really tight. And to be honest, half the time we competed to the 3 level last time, we made it. So if they did double us, we'd get a good score. So bear that in mind. One-off vulnerable still works. So at the 2 and 3 level, I want you to be competing aggressively. If they do manage to double you, well, so be it. I don't think they're going to manage it very often. And as I say, I think you're going to do well out of it. The next question was, do we need 4 in an unbid major to make this double? And the question is no. The answer, is no. We've got to be more flexible with the reopening doubles. The only one that really requires it is that negative double. Okay, so as long as you've got support for the unbid suits, about 3 cards or so, you're happy. With a negative double, what do I mean by that? 1 of a suit, 1 overcall, double. Specifically that auction, 1 of a suit, 1 overcall, double. Then we do require 4 cards in the unbid major. So 1 club, 1 spade double. I like to promise 4 hearts there. But for this reopening double, we've got to have the flexibility. And of course, the hands that I showed did have that. Okay, so here, I'll come to kibitzers in a moment. Someone's asking about kibitzers. 1 spade from you, 2 diamonds overcall, pass, pass. We saw this hand, and I think it's important to be able to make a double here. Partner, I've got support for the unbid suits, but I don't have to have 4 hearts. I'm doing the best. It's definitely the most flexible bid. Okay. One last question we had, which was when to pass for penalties. When do we pass for penalties? Basically, when you are confident you're going to take the contract off and it'll give you the best score. Okay, so you are disobeying your partner. You are disobeying your partner. So it is crucial that you're confident. You don't do it on 0 points because that will make you both unhappy. Okay, only do it when you're pretty sure. Now, there'll be times it's difficult. You might be thinking, we can make a game. Will we take this contract 3 off? You're comparing your score. So non-vulnerable, okay, you know, you double. 500 is better than 400 for a game, but 500 is not better than 600, so difficult decisions. But the main thing to remember is that if you bid and it goes wrong, well, I think you can pretty much blame partner for that because your partner has told you to bid. Okay, whereas if you pass and it goes wrong, that's going to be your fault. Now, of course, we never blame each other. We never blame each other. We never would, but bear that in mind. Okay, so let's sum up. Oh, that's the end of that. Sum up where we've been. I'm sorry about that. A little bit faster than I expected. A kibitzer, for someone who was asking, is a person who watches a game of bridge, and you'll probably select no kibitzers, but if there's 6 of you in your group, you might want 2 to join the table and watch, and then you can swap around. That's what you could do. A kibitzer is named after a kind of bird. I think a little bird. Someone can check that for me, but it is a little bird. Okay, so well, it's gone to 11:40, so I might get cut off here, so I'm going to say goodbye. I'm hoping you've enjoyed yourself. I will try to get the timings right so I don't have to sort of rush at the end, but we're getting used to this. Great to have all the responses, etc. Don't forget, the video is there for you to look at again. Please give me ideas and questions and things like that, and we'll try to make it interactive. What I will do next time is I'll probably put the names of the question askers. I didn't want to do that this time because I hadn't sort of suggested that I'd do it, but obviously you are doing live questions and comments at the end, and as long as you're happy, if you don't want your name mentioned, just say please don't mention my name in